Welcome back to another workshop build video. Last week I was able to get the sub panel wired. I filmed everything and then decided to delete that footage, so it happens. Let me walk you through what I accomplished here and then we'll get on with the rest of the wiring of the workshop. The first step was to install these wire clamps. They go into the panel here. You knock out these metal tabs, and as you can see, it clamps around the wire and holds it in so it won't be pulled out of the box. Next, I pulled the wire through and screwed that tight and kept the wire from coming back out. Then I cut the sheathing off and stripped down all of that. Also, I took a little piece of the sheathing here and wrote on it. For instance, this one says wood side, and it's yellow, so it's an outlet. So that just keeps things a bit more structured whenever you look in here and don't know what this goes to. So I can follow that black wire there to this breaker and say, okay, this is the outlets on the wood side. It's a bit difficult to see, but each grounding wire goes to this grounding bus over here on the back side. All of the white or neutral wires go to this side over here. And lastly, each of the black wires go around here to a 15 amp breaker. Now, the yellow sheath, which is the 12-2 wire, I have got on this side of the panel, and the 14-2, which is the white sheath down here, is going to be connected to this side. So it's going to have basically lighting and air conditioner, and over here will be the receptacles. So that's how it's arranged. And now I've got this breaker here, which is a 30 amp, and that will be installed across both here. So it'll be right in there, and that will bring the 240 from the house, and it separates onto both sides here. I apologize for giving you the short version of this install. It was much more entertaining whenever it was all done step by step. Now let's move on to can lights. To light the building, I'm going to be using 10 of these can lights. Now there is a reason I selected these over other methods. You're able to put in whatever bulb you want in here, and I'd like to use LEDs, and so if one goes bad, you just unscrew it, put a new one in. Also, I've got a project coming up for the building that will have a track system hanging down, and I didn't want to have a bulb that attached to those rafter ties and was hanging down 6 or so inches. So this one will keep it up above the rafter ties. So anyway, I'm going to be installing that, and to get it up there, what I've done is cut a 2x4 in half. This is a 8 foot, and that's going to give me 2 runners, basically false rafters that I can put these lights in. So let's hop over on the ladder and get them installed. I've got a 2x4 that's been cut in half here. I'm going to get it set up on top of these rafter ties. Now the rafter ties are certainly not meant to have a lot of weight on them, but some can lights won't be very heavy at all. So I'm going to set these up here, and I want to measure out to make sure each one is the same length here. So I'm going to go from the edge of the building, and it looks like we can do about 44 inches here. Would be a great place for this far side to go. Now the can lights themselves can be moved around a little bit to fit a place. Okay. Now the other measurement I want to make is out from each of these rafter ties here. So looking at this one, sorry you can't see much, but that right there is at 26 inch. Now that I have this board in place, I'm going to be installing a screw here to keep it from going anywhere. The minimum span these can lights can go up to is 13.5 inches. So I'm going to make these 15 inch. And like I said before, the lights can spread out some to adjust to different sizes. And then real quick, I need to make sure that both boards are the same length here. All right, 23. Since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and put another screw in on this one, and then we'll wrap up this piece on the other end to get this whole first row done. Now it's time to install some can lights. These fit between, I think it's 13 inches minimum between each of the legs here. And so I've got my runners up here at 15 inches. So what I want to do is go ahead and get a 1¼ inch screw ready on my impact driver. And I've already marked here at the halfway point between these two rafter ties. So I'm just going to be holding this with one hand, hopefully, and then putting a screw in here on the other. Okay. It took me a minute or two to find out a system that worked on installing these lights, because they can be a little bit awkward. But now I've kind of got something going that works out a little bit. So I'm going to do 10 of these in total. I only have 6 currently, and I'm going to get the others installed real quick that I've got, and then we'll move on to wiring these. Every time a wire passes through a stud, I'm going to install one of these metal plates, and that will protect the wire if I decide to nail or screw into the wall later on.